No love, just highs. I tell the truth, no lies. No love, just highs. I tell the truth, no lies. Hey yo, it's Sean V. Bradley at LA Dub, and we rollin' on these tracks of mine. Now Lanham Bob is gonna show you how to get your digital retail maximized. Let's go.
Bob Lanham, this might be overwhelming for people. So what's your advice if people are inspired from this and they're not currently utilizing digital retail?
We are entering what I think is the second biggest digital transformation since the introduction of the internet. And some of you are probably wondering why that is. And it's this connection between what people are doing online in your digital showroom and then walking into your physical showroom. This is the biggest digital transformation since I believe I was trying to figure out how to handle fax leads, how to handle leads through the website. Some of you might laugh. We wore pagers because Southeast Toyota had requirements on how quickly we had to respond to leads before auto replies were actually a technology. I love to do research. I scour the internet, whether it's automotive related research or non-automotive related research. And one of the things that I found that was fascinating were a number of people, not just one, talking about this engagement economy that we live in. And what is an engagement economy? And essentially what it says is while traditional in-person engagement is still critical, it alone is no longer enough to meet expectations. To succeed, traditional relationships must supplement with strong digital engagement. Guys, they have to go hand in hand. Especially in the auto industry, especially in the world that you live in, simply because we know people are spending hours upon hours researching not only what they want to buy, but where they want to buy it. And this study truly reinforces that we're an engagement economy, right? 71% of consumers, right, say that they'd likely complete their next vehicle purchase using an omni-channel approach. For those of you that are probably sick of hearing the term omni-channel, it's real. Like, it's here. People expect what they do online to extend into their offline experience. 21% said they would prefer to purchase their vehicle entirely online, and I'll get to that. I know a lot of people are like, that's never going to happen, or it's not going to happen anytime soon. But I thought what was really interesting is that last stat, right? 8% said they would shop totally in person, right? Which essentially means they did nothing online and they prefer to walk into the store and get everything they need. And we know that is dwindling. The reality is, whatever the percentage is, right, we've got a population in every single one that we have to accommodate. For anyone knows who Kevin Fry is from Wireless Automotive, he tends to be on a lot of broadcasts. He tends to do a lot of conferences. He came out a little while ago that said they've sold a car 100% online, very similar to what maybe Carvana has done, maybe even Tesla, although you still got to have a lot of wet ink. But their claim to fame was, we sold a car 100% online. Guys, I follow the top 10 dealer groups in the country. If you look at their earning reports and you follow or read their earning reports, all of them are saying how much they're investing in their online entity or their online brand to sell their vehicles. And there's two stats that come out of this that are fascinating to me. And all of them have this stat. The first one is that anyone that they're selling online, and I'll put that in quotes, the majority of it online, are new to the brand, are new to their dealerships. And the second one is the distance people are traveling to buy from them via their online entities. So if we just look at e-commerce as a whole, this is not automotive specific. This is why Kevin spent the time and energy, and I'll be brutally honest with you, he worked with Cox Automotive to sell that car through their platform. But what he looks at is data like this. We all know that COVID boosted everything online. I'm not here to bring up that term, and sorry to bring up that term, but here's the one thing we have to understand what COVID did. Well, it boosted online activity everywhere. That growth trend stayed at that accelerated rate. There's actually a fascinating webinar that Dealer Inspire did regarding chats or messaging within dealerships. Of course, they saw the spike because you had to during COVID, but that spike in people engaging with dealerships has stayed at that accelerated rate and it continued to grow. So I just wanted to bring this non-automotive statistic because this is a behavior. This is an expectation. If guys, if anyone's ever worked through Rocket Mortgage, if there's one key takeaway I have for you, whether you're buying a house or not, go to rocketmortgage.com and go through the process of getting a mortgage, right? Which is going to most likely be your largest purchase one would ever make. They have perfected the way people can get a mortgage online. It's fascinating. So I love data. I talked to you earlier about that. So I just posed in a question. This is just the way to tee up my next section. Are we listening to the data correctly to take action? So CDK works with NADA and they come out with a friction point study that I find fascinating. There's a lot of really good points. It's a short read. Do a Google search for it if you'd like. But 2023, which is using 2022 data, they came out with this that I thought was fascinating in terms of the dealer's mindset. Dealers chose providing a terrific customer experience as their top issue, 5 times more likely than managing their inventory to maximizing profits. I thought it was fascinating because we were in inventory issues, we had chip shortages, we didn't have any inventory, but yet they were really focused on the customer experience. And when they started to focus on the customer experience, and why this is a part of the Cox digitization study is because as dealers adapted the digital tools, here's what we saw between 2022 and 2023. For the first time in 3 to 4 years, we saw a growth or an increase in purchase satisfaction. So if you dig into that research, you know that it's all about how dealers and consumers were using digital tools, not necessarily to solely buy their vehicle, but to ultimately research and understand the affordability of their vehicle. For those of you that follow Brian Pash or know who Brian Pash is, he's got a large following on LinkedIn. He wrote this article not that long ago, and the whole concept was about, hey, digital retailing momentum is dying. And I'll be honest with you, when I first read it, he's not all wrong. And the reason why he's not all wrong is I was telling the previous group, when someone cancels from CarNow, when we have a dealer say, hey, I no longer want to use your digital retailing solution, believe it or not, our number one competitor that we lose digital retailing to is not a Roadster or an Autify or SmartPath or anything. It's to no digital retailing. It's the dealer not believing in digital retailing and not using it. And I understand why Brian would write this or why some of you even have this feeling, because I think we got digital retailing with the wrong mindset. I think we just assumed COVID hit, we were all forced or we had to use digital retailing. Digital retailing is going to sell cars for us online. But that's not how digital retailing tools were built at the time. So Toyota works with Shift Digital. So this is really fitting that Shift Digital has this data. If you don't follow Shift Digital on LinkedIn, I highly suggest you do because they do periodically come out with a lot of reports. And guys, Shift Digital tracked 80 million leads from January of 2022 to December of 2023. 80 million leads across 16,000 plus dealership websites. Like this is as statistically significant as it can get here. Let's talk about what Shift Digital found out. Overall, in those 2 years, overall lead volume was down 7%. Kudos to you all, and kudos to you all probably working with Sean V and the team. You guys were able to convert at a higher rate. So we're building processes in the store. That's fantastic. Let's look at where leads are dropping. Dealer leads were down. Brand leads are down. Third-party leads were up. Now, some of you are probably wondering, wow, why is that? Cars became very expensive. Some dealers had bump stickers on cars. Some dealers were not negotiating rates on cars or MSRP, et cetera. So the consumers went to third parties, i.e. Cars Commerce, Auto Trader, et cetera, thinking that they could get a better deal because they were a third party. If we dig into the dealer leads, and the definition of dealer leads is there on the bottom, website leads were down 30%. But guys, look what was up. Digital retailing. Digital retailing was up 28%. Third-party leads and digital retailing leads were the only leads that were up versus every other behavior. Don't think of it as a product. Think of it as a behavior. Every other behavior that product supports was down. I think what we have to first understand is the mindset of why consumers use digital retailing. So for those of you that follow Yossi, he has a number of podcasts, and I was listening to the one with the CEO of Cars Commerce, Alex Vetter, and Yossi asked Alex, what is the biggest changes of on-site behavior? So this is cars.com, guys, right? Like one of the largest marketplaces, third-party sites out there. And without a pause, he said shopping by payment and affordability has been the fastest growing issue and trend on a site. Affordability. Well, where do you understand affordability on a dealership's website? Just to reinforce the growth of digital retailing, CarNow, this isn't growth of our business in terms of dealers adding CarNow. This is the growth of leads, of DR leads. So you saw plus 28% from Shift Digital over a 2-year period. Guys, just in 1 year, leads through our DR platform jumped 85%. Put yourself in the mindset of the consumer, okay? Now, again, think about behavior. Don't think about products. Don't think of Bob and CarNow as a product or AutoFi, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. Think about the consumer behavior. When you start to drill down into where your leads are coming, you're going to see that most likely, if you are setting up digital retailing correctly, your digital retailing leads will be top 3, at least in terms of lead source. And again, if you have the right process in place, which I'm going to get to in a little bit, they're going to be one of your top for appointments set. They're going to be one of your top for shown and then ultimately sold. For those of you that love to look at your data to understand what platforms are driving greater value than others, going against the behavior, again, forget the names that are in the columns, but if you look at the behavior, digital retailing might not be the top lead source, because in this case, we are the second largest lead source, and this is a 5-store dealer group, FYI. But when you start to drill down into appointments shown, and then most importantly, gross against those leads of digital retailing behavior, when done right, they will be one of your highest grossed leads. And I've got 1,000 of these type of case studies. So what is digital retailing? Was digital retailing built to be a platform to solely sell the car online? I'm going to guess that's probably what we all assumed it should have been in 2020. Is digital retailing a platform that enables a potential buyer to capture payments or understand the affordability? Is it both? Or can it be both? Or should it be both? Guys, remember, most digital retailing solutions still to this day are not set up to sell cars solely online. And many states still require that wet ink, so they have to come in anyway. So I think it's understanding what the purpose and how you set up the digital retailing will define your success. Guys, what is digital retailing? Digital retailing is simply taking the in-store process and bringing it online, right? You still have a car or a specific VIN. You're going to ask, do you have a trade or not? It's a key input, right? To start defining the payment of the deal, understand your credit, right? That determines what interest rate or money factor you're going to have. Most digital retailing solutions then offer the ability to add F&I, and then you get to your payment. That's ultimately what digital retailing is in its simplistic form. I was at JD Power, which is usually the day before NADA a couple years ago, and the founder of Darwin, which is owned by JD Power, had this as his title of a slide. And I remember reading it, and I said to myself, most dealers will never see the data. And the title of the slide was, most dealers have a modern retailing tool, but some need to see data before they utilize modern retailing as more than just a lead form. And again,
have you gone
I
through
said to
any of
myself,
Cody
they're never
Carter's
going to
training that
see
we
this
have on
data
there, or
for the
Ali
most
Reddy
part.
yet,
And
or those
here's
big
why.
dogs?
You know, after
Not
you introduce
yet.
welcome to Toyota
Man,
Sarasota,
those
what is
like I'm so
usually
everything's been so
the
exciting
second
with just
screen
like I started
in
with
almost
the to
every
brush up on
digital
showroom
retailing
sales
setup? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter
because
what
now we're back
platform
to
it
like
is.
selling,
And
selling,
it's
selling and not taking
usually
orders.
a lead gate, as we
I've been
call it,
brushing up
or
on
the
that, but
form
like
lead. Right, guys,
I'm
even though
just
you're
afraid
going
that
to
if I
get the
click on
lead if
that,
they submit a trade or
I'm
they
gonna get
do a
100% sucked
soft
into
pull,
that, and
for
like
some reason, we still
so
have
much.
this notion that,
It's
man, we
so
got
much
to get their
information,
information right
but
from the
it's in
start.
a
And I'll
digestible
tell you,
form, and
some of the
now I'm going
dealers
back
who
on
have
myself because I did
CDPs
say it's
or
like
are
2, 3,
sophisticated
4
in
minute
remarketing
videos in
have
each like
removed the
segment,
lead gate,
which I could
because
dive
the
into.
more
But it's like
activity that the
I
user
already know
goes
that
down
Cody
the
Carter
line, the more
like that
data they
is
get to
probably gonna blow
remarket.
my
But what
mind.
happens when we
Yeah,
put
man.
the lead gate
The moment I watch it,
right from the start?
Listen, if you
on the
don't have
second
access
screen?
to Bradley
I
on
used
demand, you're
50%
missing out on
drop rate,
crucial
but
information.
I had
The
a
top
dealer, I gave
automotive
this
groups like
presentation 2
Coons,
weeks ago.
Lithia,
So
and
it's like
Norm
mine's
Reeves have
probably
all
80%.
used Bradley on
So when I
demand to
say
train their
when we
teams.
set
And
up
guess what? The
digital
world's number
retailing
one car
correctly, it
salesman,
could be one
Cody
of your
Carter,
top lead
shares his
sources.
exclusive
This is
strategies
an
right
example,
here. You
right?
want a
Do we
secrets?
wanna
You
set
gotta
up
have
really
Bradley
the
on
third
demand.
lead
Stop
gate
waiting and
right
start
from the
winning.
start
Dominate your
before we
market. Click
even
the
let
link and
people
get
go down
access
the
now.
You could increase the amount of leads that you can get from digital retailing. You could increase the more use on your digital retailing tool, your smart path tool, if you did not put the lead gate right up in front. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And there's a couple trains of thought on this.
The Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is on your radio.
I could pull this shit up on my phone. Like if I'm out on the lot and I could just click, watch a 5-minute video right before an appointment. But everything that's on it, it's great. And then the thing that's exciting is like, it's not just Sean, LA, Karen. It's like, you have guest speakers on it as well. And it's cool because like you see everybody's different technique. And then I love how like sometimes you pop in right after one of those videos and you're like, let me tell you my technique real quick. And I'm like, okay, like this is cool. This is cool. Like, here's one way to do it. And I would always tell people, I'm like, there's not one way to cut a pizza. Like
Right. Yeah.
you get one pizza, they got slices, and then you get a flatbread or like thin crust pizza that comes in the squares. I remember the first time I got that, I was like, this doesn't make sense.
Listen, if you don't have access to Bradley on demand, you're missing out on crucial information. The top automotive groups like Coons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley on demand to train their teams. And guess what? The world's number one car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley on demand. Stop waiting and start winning. Dominate your market. Click the link and get access now.
I've had a couple of the larger dealer groups that we work with completely remove their lead gate, right? Because they know they're going to get it if there's a trade or via soft pull. And they have found a few less people complete digital retailing, the lead quality is through the roof. Because if someone goes through the entire digital retailing, right, then submits their information, right, sets an appointment, it's a very high quality lead. I'll also go back to the role advertising and marketing is now playing in digital retailing, which is as digital retailing, as the steps are tagged and consumer behavior is able to be tracked. There are some dealer groups that are saying, man, I really want people to go as far down as possible because every step of the way I can remarket to them specifically to the step that they completed or not completed. So for those of you that maybe are a part of a bigger group or love to be a student of the game, start going to some of the bigger dealer groups. You're going to start to see more and more lead gates being removed. Let me show you what digital retailing also is not. I'm on their VDP. I have the MSRP right there. I can build my own deal. Okay. I can't write a check for $93,000. I'm going to finance or lease it. So let me build the deal. I just was told the price, but all of a sudden that price just went away. I'm going to become untransparent. And I'm like, well, it's this price, but before you do anything, you got to give me some information. Like, don't do this. Please don't do this. Like, be as transparent because people are just simply trying to figure out what they can or can't afford against a vehicle on your lot. I think the last I read, it was between 15 and 20 hours of research before they physically walk into your store. And not only are they researching what make and model they want to buy, they're researching where they want to buy it, right? And they're doing most of that work on the digital retailing solution. So the consumer has this flow, right? Where it's I got my VIN, I plug in my inputs. I want to try to get to a payment, but now I want to show you why it's so important to let the consumer move down the funnel, because we want to get them to an appointment and then ultimately be able to send them a confirmation that has a QR code or some other novelty that allows them to, when they walk into the showroom, identify themselves. And I'm going to get to that in a second, in a few slides after this. So for the consumer side, they want to go through the process to understand the affordability. Again, I am just using CarNow as an example. I'm fairly certain SmartPath has very similar technology. The left side of the screen, folks, is a consumer on a dealership's website going through the process. Digital retailing, communicating, whatever that process they're going through is. The middle of the screen or the bulk of the screen is our back end that ultimately tracks every click and every action each consumer is doing online. Why is that important? In the top right-hand corner, you're going to see some blue alerts. You're going to see a red alert at some point. Guys, I was trained. I think I had scripts. I had to memorize and get videotaped these scripts because my goal was to walk around the lot with the buyer and ask them 1,000 questions so I could understand how to create that first pencil, right? The more back and forth from the desk, right, to the tower, the more loss of gross we make. So the more I knew about the consumer, the better. So what you're going to see here is as our platform tracks every click and every action, which you have access to this, because this is ultimately your platform, as the user gets towards the end, which it will here very quickly, you're going to see a deal jacket. So we now have created a deal jacket for that consumer of all the activity that they have done online. They have told you exactly how they need the deal penciled. They gave you a trade. They plugged in payments. You know their credit tier. So what do you think the worst thing is when a consumer either walks into your store, you follow up with a lead, and you're like, hey, do you have a trade? Well, they just spent 15, 20 hours on your digital showroom. They gave you everything, and we're just completely disregarding it. They did all this work, 15, 20 hours online. They've done all this work. They now walk into the store. This is where now that online to offline connection has to come into play. So if those that use CarNow, when they come into the store, if they have that barcode, that confirmation, and the dealer's using our solution, they can take a picture of that barcode. And the second they take a picture of that barcode, it checks that consumer into the showroom experience. And after they get checked in, the sales consultant on the left side can see every input that the consumer did. The right side is the view of the consumer. So we have some stores that have two monitors, one monitor facing the consumer, one monitor that's for the sales representative. We have some stores have iPads. You can actually share this screen on the right to the potential buyer's cell phone. You can actually send them a link, and right there they can follow along. And the purpose of a showroom experience is to pick up exactly where the consumer left off with the exact VIN and the exact payment they left off. This also enables the sales personnel to get a very quick view of exactly where the consumer is, right? Mrs. Johnson, is that your 1999 Honda Accord out there? Sorry, I can't believe I just used 1999. Is that your 2019 Honda Accord out there? It looks like your payoff was yeah, that's it. Great. That's phenomenal. Still looking at this particular vehicle. So, and the right side, you're just walking them through everything they already inputted, building that trust through transparency. Now, obviously the showroom experience has many more screens, but wasn't going to go through every single screen. I have a really big passion for this. Guys, there's a lot of really cool technology. There's a lot of buzz, especially around AI and all kinds of stuff. Don't buy products for features or just buzz or articles around. Make sure you're buying it because it's going to provide the ROI that you're looking for. We all have cool features. We all have cool products. We're all going to integrate AI in some form or another, and that seems to be the it product. But at the end of the day, does it still provide the ROI that you're expecting?
The next person I want to share with you, we all know, is Mr. Cody Carter. Cody Carter he's mind blowing. He's like the Larry Bird or the Kobe Bryant of car sales. In 2023, he sold more cars than any other person on planet Earth, in the United States, in Asia, in Europe, anywhere in the world. He sold 1,408 units on the showroom floor, and he made $1.2 million. The reason why I'm bringing it up here is everybody asks, how does Cody Carter sell so many cars? Because he doesn't sell cars like the rest of us do. He doesn't wait for ups. He has his own website that has full-blown digital retailing on there. Most of the deals that he does are done way before they get to the dealership. So if anybody wants to wonder, how does Cody Carter sell more cars than 50% more than the average dealership sells 96 cars. This guy sells 156 cars in a month. Now let's listen to Cody Carter directly.
Hey everybody, it's Cody Carter. I had to join in on this meeting just after I heard, what we're discussing, the topic, digital retailing and how it can be, used to your success. Right. I hear it on a regular basis, talking to different people online and, just in conversations at different meetings. How is it possible that you sold 161 and a half cars in April of 2024? How is it possible you did 154 cars in March of 2021? And it's definitely possible. It's not easy. And one of the biggest successes to that is actually embracing digital retailing and figuring out a way that it makes sense for you and it makes sense for the customer. Right. Can you imagine on a daily basis just being able to log in and seeing all of these deals that are set forth for you, right? The timing on these deals is much quicker as the customer already knows what car they want, what payment, what their down payment, and a lot of times, what finance product that they're interested in. Those deals just become so easy. You just have them constantly coming through on the carousel right into your showroom. Cars are ready, paperwork's ready, right? Let me show you, when I share my screen here, what my customers see on a regular basis and what the process looks like for digital retailing. So when they come to my site, it's part of our dealer URLs, cody.tustintoyota.com. They would come here and they can start their shopping experience. Some people know exactly what type of car they're looking for. Some customers are just payment driven. And that's what this site is specifically built for. They can come in and it's sorted by the lowest payment, or if you're looking for a certain particular type of vehicle. But let's just start here with the car that's actually available. So a Corolla. Customers can see if they're looking for a Corolla LE, Corolla SE, simply click in and they can select from lease, finance, or cash. Typically, I want my customers to see lease first. The payments are more affordable. You have that 3-year time frame where they'll come back to you to keep that pipeline full, to keep you busy, keep the showroom full. So you'll see here 365. If they scroll down, they actually can see those terms and play with those terms on their own. Most digital retailing tools are roughly the same. So you'll be able to get the same type of idea at your dealership, whatever retail tool you're using, SmartPath, Roadster, Buy Now. They can select how many miles per year they want. They can even try to mess with the terms, how long the lease is, if they're trying to hit a certain payment. But it just allows the customer to have the full control, right? Full control of what their deal is, and also transparency at the end of the day, what the price is, all the terms set forth, any of the legal, they can read all of that prior to making their decision. Once they find a deal that works for them, they want to put a little bit more down payment. There we go. We got a $393 payment. They can come in, get an appraisal on their car. We can add the finance product, making it super simple to know exactly what you're going to pay for the car when you walk in the showroom. All right, so then from there, they hit continue. In this case, I have a dealer account, so I can't move past this. But what they'll do is they'll go ahead and submit their driver's license, their insurance, their credit application, and all of that comes back to me on my end as a completed deal packet, making it super easy to load the deal, get the deal approved, and then from there, schedule an appointment for them to come to your showroom. So imagine doing a dozen deals this way, over a weekend. It's definitely possible when information is collected in advance. It's something that everyone should be using. If you haven't used it to your full advantage yet, I hope that this gives you a little bit of an idea, from someone that uses it primarily. Most of my customers do not come in the showroom without being on the website first. It just makes the experience that much better for them.
Hey everybody, I know we already discussed, digital retailing through the website at your customer's convenience at their home, but let's talk about how can we use digital retailing within our showroom. What is the benefits? But let's be honest, we're not always going to be the most knowledgeable on every single car, every single product that's available, right? And digital retailing helps us, right? Either directly through your phone or through an iPad that you can carry with you in the showroom. How convenient, how transparent is it to be able to walk around the showroom, showing cars, being able to quote accurate payments, and avoiding the back and forth, running to the manager to ask a question, hey, is this in stock? Or what term is available? What rate is available? All of these now become available at your fingertips directly through your digital retailing tool. Toyota SmartPath is absolutely amazing at connecting you directly with Dealer Daily to answer these questions. It just becomes a much better customer experience. The transparency is there to be able to walk the customer and just know pretty much everything you need to know about your inventory is huge. And if you're not doing that in your showroom, you're absolutely missing the mark.
Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast is on your radio.
The format that you have it at, where like I was like, man, do I got to sit down for like 45 minutes to do this? No, I could sit down and it's like a 5-minute video or a 2-minute video. It's like topic addressed. And something freaky's been happening the last couple of days, because one of my managers is super interested in it. Me and him will get together and talk about certain things that like I want to work on. And then I'm like, I leave that conversation, I start doing some video training, and literally the that I clicked on is the stuff that we were talking about in the conversation. I'm like, dude, I go back at the end of the day, I'm like, you're not gonna believe this, but everything that we were like talking about this morning, I just learned in the video again. And it's not because I'm a green pea, but it's like what I want to know is I want to refresh and be able to, like, 'cause sometimes you forget things.
Listen, if you don't have access to Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on crucial information. The top automotive groups like Coons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their teams. And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand. Stop waiting and start winning. Dominate your market. Click the link and get access now.
I'm a national trainer with a hell of a lot of experience, but yet when I go into Best Buy, for whatever reason, I'm predispositioned to like have repellent for Best Buy reps. They come and they up me, and I'm like, no, I'm just looking. I swear to God. And then what happens? 5-10 minutes later, I have my head down and I'm trying to find one of these freaking people because I have a question or a need. You know what I mean? And I that's what happens. Human beings have a natural repellent for salespeople, for whatever experience, bad experience, stereotypes, whatever it may be, and especially the automotive industry. When they hear, it's almost, impulsive. Ask any random person, car salesman, what comes to mind? And again, it's not usually butterflies and bubbles. They have some type of negative stigma. And if they don't, they have fear, because we have to remember and respect that this is the second largest item that the average American will ever purchase in their lifetime, next to a home. And with the crazy interest rates and crazy real estate market, this is the single largest expense that a lot of Americans have ever purchased or will ever purchase for the time being. So when you take those realities and now combine them to, I don't know, these vehicles are really, really, really expensive. And there's still, inventory is not back to where it was pre-pandemic reality. So when you have all these variables, now let's add another thing to it. What about life? Okay. Does the average American really want to have a sales ninja, a sales beast, a salesperson blowing up their phone and emails and boxing them in and like, what can I sell you? You know what I mean? Like, see, I'm like in your Zoom, like right there. That's how we are sometimes, these customers, right or wrong. We're like right there. It's like, all right, relax. So digital retailing gives prospects the power to do their research whenever they want, on demand. Literally, if they want to do it at 2:00 in the morning in their boxers, if they want to do it in their bathrobe and the bunny slippers, or if they want to do it before they go to work, they don't have to have the pressure or stress of hearing somebody else. Sometimes people just want to have peace and tranquility when they're dealing with a stressful thing, like buying a car or trying to get a car loan if they've got bad credit or difficult credit or what have you. So sometimes we don't respect that reality because we just want to sell a car and make money. Selling cars like candy bars, I get it. I'm all about it. But once we understand that, like, and we have empathy, if we could put ourselves in prospects' shoes in all their different situations, maybe we will be like, wow, you know what? This digital retailing thing is amazing because it gives somebody anonymity. They have the ability whenever they want to get as much information as they can before engaging a salesperson. The other thing is that, as crazy as it sounds, if it's online, especially when it's preloaded like this in here, they tend to believe it more. There's more believability, there's more trust when they see it in this tool than if they hear a salesperson telling them the same exact thing. So I just want you to understand that. Now, that's the online mechanism. It streamlines it. It makes it transparent. It makes it easier. It makes it safer. And for some people, it might make it even more fun. And I had the pleasure of working with Ryan, who is SmartPath. And I spent hours and hours getting prepared for this seminar. And what I really took from it, you know, there's a whole nother level of digital retailing on the showroom side. Now, let me explain this. If you think about it, there hasn't been a lot of change in 100 years selling cars. I have clients that have owned their dealerships in their family for over a century. And so just wrap your mind around that. Now, there's been a lot of external stuff, but think about this. Even back in the day, 50, 60 years ago, somebody upped somebody at the door, right? Or on the lot. They brought them in, asked them some questions. They showed them the vehicle. I have footage from the 1950s from Ford manufacturer of road to the sale training, and it hasn't changed that much. But you know what can change and revolutionize the experience that you give your prospect is digital retailing in the showroom, because it utilizes technology, software to be able to streamline, enhance the experience. Even professional speakers at our level, we have a lot of sound effects. Look at the webinars. Why do we do all this stuff? To enhance your experience. Why did LA do all that he does? To enhance your webinar experience. Why are we not trying to enhance the showroom experience? Why are we not trying to build value, not just directly, but subliminally by how we execute things? So I'll tell you right now, when I go to a doctor or to something that's high tech, I'll give an example. My optometrist, when I go to the eye doctor, he's got these cool now technology things that are like lasers and all this other stuff. And I'm like, damn, this is a smart doctor. Again, you want to be perceived as the subject matter expert by not just what you say, by what will you do and how you do it. So with digital retailing, when you up a customer in the showroom, instead of just pointing to things or what have you, or walking around, you could save time, make it more efficient, enhance the experience. All this by utilizing digital retailing and SmartPath. And I got to tell you, 25 years in digital and BDC internet sales, what Toyota has created with SmartPath is phenomenal. Toyota's digital retailing tool allows the customer to shop for vehicles in the comfort of their own home and pick up right where they left off at home from the dealership. That's the thing that's really key. And I'm sure Bob would co-sign this. This is one of the biggest frustrations from prospects. They could spend minutes, hours, days, weeks, or months researching. The average buying cycle on a new Toyota is roughly 90 plus days, depending who you ask, right? So again, can you imagine spending that much time and then you go to the dealership and you hear available salesperson, customer in the showroom, and you start from scratch? It first and foremost is a withdrawal from the emotional bank account. I'm going to repeat that. It's a withdrawal from the emotional bank account from all the effort, time, energy that the prospect put in, or the prospect's family, the husband, the wife, the whoever, and then you have no idea. So not only does it waste their time, it devalues their time, which I think is just as bad, if not worse. I'm going to tell you some stuff. I don't know if anybody's ever shared this with you, but NADA says the number one reason why people don't buy cars, it's not pricing, it's not availability, it's not that you pissed them off, it's not that stuff. It's because they're landed on the wrong car. Too much car, too little car. They wanted the blue one. You keep shoving the white one down their throat, whatever it might be. So as a trainer, let me translate that. And it's, we didn't qualify them properly. I'm going to repeat that. We didn't qualify them properly. Dr. Covey says from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, seek first to understand and then to be understood. I'm going to repeat that. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. As I train GSMs and sales managers on how to build incredibly successful sales team, one of the most elementary things that I teach them is you need to really explain to your people, hold them accountable on how to qualify your prospect. Step one, greet your customer in the showroom, or on the lot, bring them to the desk. Using either a customer needs assessment sheet that you've integrated into your CRM or manually, qualify your customer, identify their wants, wishes, needs, make sure to get them into your CRM. Then load up SmartPath and either search for or add your customer, find the requested vehicle, and go over all the details of the vehicle, including all the features and benefits. And remember, when sharing VSpec info, always share by copying link and email texting it to the customer. Now, trade-in. Input all of your customers' trade-in information and send it over to your manager. The information you submit here in SmartPath will automatically update in your CRM. Then your manager can push the vehicle appraisal tool. Now, credit application. Have your customers fill out a credit application, especially if they are not sure of their credit. To fill one out, click Apply for Credit in the top right of the pricing page. Now, finance. Change the term, source, cash down as needed to get the numbers as close to the customer's wishes as possible. Lease. Change term, cash down, mileage as needed to get to the numbers as close to the customer's wishes as possible. Very, very simple, very easy. Bob, yeah, I believe that a lot of people are elongating the process. It's like, does it make sense to make your prospects take 30 minutes to cook minute rice? I'm going to repeat that. Are you making your prospects take 30 minutes to cook minute rice? Bob, explain to the people, what do I mean by this analogy?
When we were chatting last night, you gave me this analogy. I absolutely love it, right? You've got a company that did all the work for us, and all we have to do is cook it for a minute, but yet some of us probably take 15 to 30 minutes to cook it, even though it's all done. The same analogy is the consumer is penciling their own deal online. They're telling you exactly how they need or have to buy the car, whether that's with the down payments, their credit tier, etc. So let them do the work. And I'll tell you, there's a strategy, and I'm in the midst of researching this around the mindset of, if you put the consumer in control of the deal and make it feel as if it's their deal and not your deal, I can assure you every digital retailing platform out there today, we all have the metrics that when a consumer goes through our tool and there's a process in store, there's higher close rates, but more importantly, higher gross. Consumers are less likely to negotiate.
Let me jump in on this tag team right here, Bob. Is like, this is, if you have a tool on your website, this is not digital retailing per se, but this is to explain. When you allow the prospect to pick the time and date to speak to you, like if you schedule a phone call, like using a widget like Calendly with an LY, Calendly is a very cheap software tool. It's that allows you to leverage your calendar and let the prospect pick the time and date for the phone call, the time and date for the video conference call, or time and date for their own in-store appointment. And what I'm going to give you some data. NADA says that it's roughly about a 48% appointment show ratio, 48 to 50%. So if your internet department or BDC makes an appointment, statistically, on average, it's 48 to 50%. That increases. My clients at Dealer Synergy already average about 65%. But if we allow, by using Calendly type technology, or empower the prospect to choose the time and date on their own, to schedule the appointment autonomously, it increases up to 75+% appointment shows. 75%. And then when you add in a video appointment confirmations, we've seen over 80% show. How crazy is that? Because if you think about it, if somebody without pressure or nudging picks on their own the time and date when they're going to talk to you, or the time and date they're going to come in, they have a higher probability of showing to an appointment they actually made themselves on their own. What is your showroom process? What is your road to the sale? Because if you do not have a road to the sale process that includes synergistically SmartPath or some other form of digital retailing, you are missing the boat. You are not providing your prospects with the most incredible experience. You guys are spoiled, and this is a good thing. You have the best product on the planet. You have Toyota. You know that, I know that. It is an incredible brand. So again, when somebody like your prospects and your clients that are looking to purchase a Toyota, it is our responsibility. Toyota manufacturers did their job. They manufactured the best car on planet Earth. It is now our job as automotive sales professionals, BDC reps, managers, and dealer principals to create the most incredible experience. You want to sell more cars more often, more profitably. You want to conquest everybody else in your PMA, DMA. You want to conquest other competing brands like Honda, Ford, Chevy, etc. Then you need to out experience your competition. I'm going to repeat that. You need to out experience your competition. And Toyota provides some incredibly amazing tools that are integrated into Toyota Dealer Daily with SmartPath. Are you connecting the online experience to the in-store experience for the consumer? It's either yes or no. I love this phrase. You're either pregnant or not pregnant. There's no half pregnant, right? So you're either doing this or you're not doing this. And you got to ask yourself, if I'm not doing this, is it because I don't believe in this? I don't see the value. And Bob hammered this point home. Just look at the data. Just look at the data. Listen to the data. We're not trying to brainwash you. To be honest with you, I feel bad for Toyota OEM. Like, they spend so much time, and all other manufacturers, trying to give the best resources, the best tools to the dealership. Let's talk about this. What is Toyota's mission, respectfully? Is to sell Toyotas, right? Certified pre-owned and new cars. And so everything that they do, with all their data scientists and strategists and all these amazing people at a company of their level, it's designed for one purpose: to sell more cars more often and more profitably. So, and how cool was it? You heard from Andre. He's your Chicago regional rep. He said, look, we would love you to use SmartPath, but heck, if you used any digital retailing tool, I mean, like, how much more support can your OEM give you if they're like, look, we have our own tool we think is great. We built it for you. We'd like you to use it, but even if you didn't use it, use something. It's that important that you need to use something, whether that's CarNow or whatever other tool. Just understand how valuable this is for your customers and for you. It's not just about them. It's about everybody. Saving time, making things easier, streamlining, accountability, enhancing the experience, which leads me to the next point. The world has changed again. Like Thanos's blip from the Avengers, we just had the blip. It was called COVID. And then boom, just like Avengers Part 2, right? Like, they came back from the blip. And we're now in the post-pandemic reality. And what's happening, and there's more allocation. Your manufacturer, and if you have other franchises, are increasing production, which is increasing what? Competition. Why? Because the manufacturers are creating more incentives and discounts and rebates, etc. Your competitors are, unfortunately, some of them are racing to the bottom. So what you have to do to compete with them is out experience your competitors. If you want to conquest, if you want to turn around and dominate, not just stay afloat, if you want to dominate, I am telling you, out experience your competitors. You saw the slide that Bob showed at the beginning, 5 times more. That's what the top dealer groups are focusing on, is enhancing the customer experience. And think about this. From my understanding, I don't know what the Toyota number is, but the NADA number is the value of a lost prospect over the lifetime is over $300,000 between all the cars that they could buy, all the parts, the service, the maintenance, the aftermarket, all that stuff. So, and we know NADA says that the highest closing ratio is repeat customers, etc., and prior customers, orphan owners, etc. A service customer is 7 times as likely to purchase where they service. What am I saying here? If we could capture people and keep them happy, right, and make their lives easier, they're going to stay longer. Bob Lanham, this might be overwhelming for people. So what's your advice if people are inspired from this and they're not currently utilizing digital retail? What's ground zero? How do they get started? You know what I mean? Is it, obviously they got to, choose their tool. So if it's SmartPath or whatever it is, but what's your recommendation? How can they get started with doing digital retailing? Do they start with just the online side of it? Do they start with the showroom side of it? Do they start with both of it? Where do they start?
Choose your tool. Take the training seriously when the partner comes in to train you on the tool, as well as the showroom experience. Guys, trust I 1,000% understand that one of the biggest challenges us vendors have when we come out with new tech against consumer behavior is, I have to have a new process. I've had a process. I don't want to change the process. Take the training seriously and test and learn. I'll give you a great example. We deal with a number of the larger groups throughout the country. And one group has designated specific sales consultants to only handle the digital retailing ups. And they have to earn it. Like there's a reward system to handle these ups. So they just segmented a small group to go handle these ups. Well, the traditional folks handled ups traditionally. So I guess what I'm saying is you do not have to reinvent your process. Test and learn and figure it out. It's going to be different by store.